Hi, and thanks again for listening to the Clive Barker podcast. This is the only podcast dedicated to the imagination of Clive Barker. This episode, we catch up on Clive Barker news and Hellraiser news, and we get into the details of our new Kickstarter. Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraising Inferno 5, which is live right now. The link is below. There's lots and lots of cool stuff, so go check it out while you're listening. Yeah, well, welcome. This is episode 162, Fundraising Inferno. And but before we get to our main topic, we can go into the Clive Barker news. There's just a little bit this time. And Rob, you had found this right on Amazon. There's a price drop on the Scarlet Box.
Yeah, I did. Is it still going on? And usually those things maybe last like a week or so, but I haven't checked it since. But yeah, it dropped a considerable amount from its regular. I guess it was $100. Usually goes for $100.
I have to admit, when you posted that, I was surprised to learn that it's still around. I thought that they were in limited supply and they'd be sold out by now.
Yeah, I agree. I thought because that was the whole thing. It was very limited. I know the UK one or Region B sold out really fast.
Yeah, do we know what was the price drop on that? Yeah, I'm looking at Amazon right now, and it says here it's down to $62.19.
Wow! Right, wow! It's dropped a few dollars more.
Yeah, Blu-ray edition.
For anybody that didn't get it at the time, I got it like immediately because I thought it was going to sell out in a few days. I remember. It was Christmas time last year, right? It was like right around this day or around this time last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's right. A lot of cool stuff. Yeah, I don't know exactly how many copies were made right now, but I can tell you that it's really worth it for $60-something because you not only get the trilogy, Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3, and they're all 2K restorations. You get the documentaries, the documentaries about Hellraiser 1 and 2 from the Leviathan documentary, right? You get interviews with Paula Marshall and what was his name?
Sean Chapman.
Yeah, right. Sean Chapman, who played Frank. You have on-set interviews with Clive Barker, Doug Bradley. You have never-before-seen Hellraiser 3 special effect dailies. You have the Clive Barker Legacy exclusive disc 4. There's a documentary there. And you also have a 200-page book called Damnation Games that was written by Phil and Sarah Stokes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good book, by the way.
Yeah. And you also get those short films, A Question of Faith, which was a fan-made short film about a Hellraiser short film. This came out really, really a long time ago. I think, Rob, you may remember this. It was made by that guy. What was his name? I forgot the name of the filmmaker now, but he used to be on the old
Web, right?
Hellbound Web. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
His handle over there at the forum was called Fartlighter. I remember that. I don't remember his real name right now. But he made that Question of Faith, and it became this fan-made DVD that he sold. And now it's on this Scarlet Box, and
that's cool.
Really cool stuff. Yeah. It's a nice-looking box, plenty of postcards and little posters and all this. So go ahead and check it out. It's really cool.
So apparently, I've had this sitting on my shelf for a year. I didn't even realize it's been that long, and all I've done so far is watch Hellraiser 1.
Yeah, but it looks really good.
It does.
So next up on the news. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So next up on the news, we have Goodreads is doing a couple of giveaways, right, of their play scripts that came out, The Magician and The History of the Devil. Have you guys entered that Goodreads giveaway yet?
I tried, and I realized that even though I'm signed up for Goodreads, I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't sign in. Like, I've never actually used Goodreads. It was just, there was a contest like this one time where I had to vote for something, and I created an account. And now I wanted to do this contest, and I couldn't log in. So, I don't know.
I actually did that. I went in and I logged in and I put myself on the giveaway for The Magician and the History of the Devil on Goodreads. And I think by the time we're recording this, it's Saturday the 16th. And I think you can enter the giveaway until the 18th, which is Monday. So I hope by the time you listen to this, you'll still be able to join the giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's really cool. I mean, and it's not very often. I don't know if I've ever seen any of Phil and Sarah's books available anywhere else except for their site or the real Clive Barker store.
Actually bought The Magician, so I didn't enter the contest. So I have that.
If I don't get it for Christmas, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
And you can always go to clivebarkerarchive.com and go to their store, and you will find both books available. And you can also buy a bundle of both, and there's a little bit of a price reduction there. So
I think The Magician is $8, or is that £8? I can't remember.
£8.
It's £8, so that's probably like $12.
Yeah, $12. It was $12, I think. Yeah.
And then it was like £11 for
History of the Devil.
History of the Devil. I think just because it's a bigger play.
Yeah.
Assuming. I mean, none of us. I don't really know much about The Magician at all, but I never read it. Yeah.
I just want to make a little correction. I think I'm looking at the store right now. The Magician is $8, and The History of the Devil is $11.50.
Okay, so that is in dollars.
It is in dollars, and the plays bundle, The Magician and The History of the Devil, is available from $18.75. So if you go to their store, you can buy it for that amount.
I wonder if it reads your IP and then converts the money on the website.
That's possible.
Because I thought everything else they did was in pounds before. Maybe I'm wrong.
I guess they always had like pounds and dollars for like international customers. So
yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Yep. So go there, clivebarkerarchive.com, or go to Goodreads. It's a website where you can not only read other people's reviews of books, but you can also add your own reviews of Clive Barker books and other authors. So go ahead and do that, and you can join the giveaway, and you have a chance to win these for free.
And we'll be talking a little more about this later, but we're also planning on covering these in future episodes, in 2018.
Oh, yeah. Definitely The Magician. I mean, The History of the Devil, did we do that one already?
I think we did, yeah. But
that and Frankenstein and
Love. Yeah, that's a good one.
And Crazy Face, I think we also did.
Yeah, Crazy Face.
We haven't done Colossus or Subtle Bodies yet. That could be something we could add to the schedule for 2018. Just a thought.
Yeah. Well, it's already in there in the stretch goals.
Okay, there we go. Cool.
So up next the speaking of the Scarlet Box, it got an award. It was the best Blu-ray box set of the year or something like that. Yeah,
very deservedly so.
Yeah.
So I didn't read the actual award, what it was, but
honestly, I don't know this media company or whatever they are that gave the award.
Yeah, I had never heard of them.
They are
Reaper Awards.
Yeah, they are the Reaper Awards, and he won Horror Title of the Year, Best Collection, and Best Extras. So he won 3 awards.
Wow.
The Hellraiser Scarlet Box from Arrow Video. So congratulations to Arrow Video. And again, another reason why you should buy this while it's a reduced price at Amazon.
Yeah. Before everybody starts figuring out how good it is.
Go ahead, Rob.
Arrow Video puts out a lot of good stuff. I bought their Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing collector's edition, and it had a new transfer of the film, and it looks much better than the Scream Factory release, which I'd gotten for my birthday.
How are the extras? Does it have anything like particular?
I haven't gotten to those yet, but I just wanted to see the print, look at the. But there's a ton of extras. Yeah.
I like that the Arrow one has in the Hellraiser 1 and 2. You can see that film grain. It's really it's got a lot of film grain on the transfer. It looks really good in 2K.
Especially in Part 2. Especially Hellbound is a lot of grain.
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Do you guys think, because I didn't the the European UK version, it sold out, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. We'd have to check Amazon.
I think it did. Do you guys think this is just? I don't know anything about Arrow in North America, but do they not put them on shelves here? Are they only available online?
I've never seen the Scarlet Box in a store, so yeah, it could just be an online thing.
Whereas stuff like from Shout Factory gets put on store shelves, like at Best Buy and Walmart and places like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that has something to do with the reason this thing is still available.
How the quantity is remaining high.
So when you're talking about the Scarlet Box, the British one, you're talking about region B, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot how many of those they made. I don't know if there was an announced number of how many they did, but I think it says here only 5,000 copies in the UK region B Blu-ray Arrow limited edition. So there were only 5,000, I think. And
I'll have to look at my box later and see if there's a number. Usually they put numbers on these things, and
right.
Yeah, I don't remember
American
seeing that.
Have a number.
Yeah. Huh.
So anyway, Reaper Awards, best title of the Vault. I'm sorry, that's blah. So Reaper Awards, horror title of the year, best collection, and best extras for the Arrow Video Scarlet Box. So that's great. The Arrow Video posted 7 photos of their Scarlet Box next to the awards. So congratulations, Arrow Video.
Look forward to more, work from y'all.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in more Hellraiser news, of course, Paul T. Taylor being the biggest Hellraiser Judgement fan out there. he's also playing Pinhead, of course, in Hellraiser Judgement. He discovered, while he was looking at IMDB, that somebody had gone in there and updated the Internet Movie Database for Hellraiser Judgement, so now it says in select theaters 2018.
Yeah.
Now, anybody can do that, right?
I think so.
I'm just wondering, can anybody do that?
Anybody that's involved in the production somehow. Because I went in and edited my own profile in there. And you gotta, it's not super user-friendly, and you gotta somehow say that you're involved in the production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I remember people adding, stuff to it that was totally fabricated, like this Hellraiser movie that was saying that was going to be with Kirsty and all that. It's that movie never really happened. I'm not so sure that these updates on the.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that someone from Facebook once went and changed the Nightbreed poster that was in the IMDb page, so it didn't seem like it was that hard. But yeah, what does this mean in selected theaters? Maybe it just means it's going to have a really tiny cinematic run. I don't know.
I have a feeling they don't even know yet. I think that somebody
in the post I made, I was very kind of I put things in quotation marks, and at the end of the title, I put a question mark. Just to make sure not to allude. I made that post because I just want to give that. There's a lot of fans that want to see the film, and I'm one of them. I actually want to see this film eventually, and I'd like to for it to come out in 2018 in select theaters. That'd be a cool way to see it, but
sure,
we'll just have to wait and see.
Somebody in the chaos of the Weinstein Company is going to look at this movie and decide, is this going to be big, or is this something, we just need to get out there on, VOD and Blu-ray and stuff? I don't know. I mean, we don't really know other than Paul Taylor's enthusiasm for it.
I think it's the latter that you said. It's going to be okay, let's just premiere this in the minimum number of theaters necessary to fulfill any contractual obligations, and then just dump it on video on demand.
Well, with Revelations, the minimum number of theaters, it was just one, right? They just had a cast and crew screening, and that was it.
That's what I heard, yeah. So I don't know. It's at this point, I don't even know if... I'm sorry, Paul T. Taylor, but I don't even know if it would hurt the Hellraiser franchise more if this comes out, or if it just stays on a shelf. I mean, I don't know. I would like to see it just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And just out of respect for the crew and cast that worked in it, because, I mean, it must be horrible to put the best work you can do onto a movie and then be shelved. You know?
I don't remember there being anyone enthusiastic about Hellraiser Revelations, though. I mean, we were all shocked when we saw it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody had a really good feeling about it, but nobody really had any idea that it was going to be that terrible.
I mean, the reservations for me started when I saw that picture of Pinhead. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, but
that's when it started for me.
Yeah, right.
That was not fun. I mean, Paul T. Taylor looks good in the makeup and the promo pictures that we've seen of that. Of course, there's always the purists who say, well, no Doug Bradley, no Hellraiser. But it's like, okay, you know, give it a chance, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to... I mean, I guess you have to pay some money to see it, but otherwise it doesn't really hurt to give it a chance.
There's
I like
some
the
other
pictures
characters in this that I want to see, you know, like the guy... I guess what is he called, the accountant or something? He's at the typewriter. He looks kind of cool, and there's the butcher, and
there's that weird character with the gas mask that's now on the cover of on the main IMDb image for the movie too.
Yeah, that's called the surgeon or something like that.
I like that. The accountant, I think, is played by Mike Regan from 2 Hours in the Dark. He used to play Chatterer in the sequels like Deader and Hell World and maybe.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think that was Mike Regan under the accountant makeup. And I like the pictures that you added to your article here, Rob, about this in select theaters in 2018 article that you wrote. You can see some behind the scenes pictures with Gary Tunnicliffe and Paul Taylor. And Paul Taylor shaved his head to become the Hell Priest, so that's good job there. I mean, not many people would do that. They would just put on a bald cap or something, but looks like he really went the extra mile and shaved his head in one of the pictures.
And just to kind of add, of course, the grain of salt is that there was a time when this movie was when the rumors first came out. IMDb said March 2016 was the release date.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's long gone.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I know. So, hey, Paul T. Taylor will keep us updated on this. I mean, like you said, he's the biggest fan of Hellraiser Judgment at this point.
Yeah.
And he knows the work that was done. So, you know, for now, I'm taking his word that it's a decent film and just hope that it eventually comes out and I can see it just out of curiosity. But I'm not holding a lot of, like, expectations for it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep, and in a little bit sadder news, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there wondering what's going on with the Real Clive Barker store because it's been down for a while. I think the only thing really to be said about it is it's not a technical glitch. It's down due to some reorganization of the company, and we don't know if or when it's going to come back. Hopefully they can do something. I mean, it's really bad timing with the holidays and everything, but at the same time, it's just
unfortunate. It's an unfortunate.
So the current incarnation of the store for now is over, and we'll see what's going to happen in the next month or so. So maybe someone else will take it over. Maybe it'll, be added to another website that already exists, and hopefully they'll come up with an alternative soon, so they can start, giving fans another chance of buying merchandise signed and that comes straight from Clive Barker.
Oh, yeah, a lot of good stuff up there.
Yeah, they sure do.
I still never bought Hellraiser Anthology 2. I just kept thinking, I've got plenty of time.
Yeah, and I wanted to buy that Clue Cat pin from The Thief of Always. That looks really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it had some nice, cool postcards, that I wanted to get for Christmas, and send out to, my close friends, but that, didn't happen. But obviously, they'll figure something out, and we'll get the store back eventually.
Yeah. And I just want to remind people, if they want to buy stationery of Clive Barker's art, you can still go to the CliveBarkerArchive.com.
Oh, yeah.
And you have art card sets from the Imaginer paintings, and you have notebooks with covers by Clive Barker, and you have bundles of notebooks. So, yeah, that's a cool thing to get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you guys want to buy any stationery, go there, and you will find great paintings on postcards and notebooks. So that's what you can get for now. And again, go and get those play scripts from Phil and Sarah that they put out, because I mean, the History of the Devil has been out for a while, but The Magician, I don't think anybody's ever read it unless you were lucky enough to get a copy of it from a library somewhere, or Clive Barker's office or something like that. So yeah, go check those out. Yeah, and there's a last item on our news today. It's that there's a new Pinhead bust coming out, right?
Yeah, and it's a really nice looking one, and it's not in the U.S., right? Where is this? What country is that in?
I think this is coming out in France. It says, and I'm translating loosely what it says in French. It was posted by Phil and Sarah, and it was from the Facebook page for ESC Distribution, which is a television studio in Paris, France. And they said, Operation Hellraiser Trilogy is launched. ESC Editions have just gotten the rights to Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3, and they will offer you great editions of these movies and Pinhead bust. So it's going to come out on the second trimester of 2018 for sure.
Oh.
So go ahead and check out our post on Facebook on our page, and we kind of share their page in French. So we may go ahead and do a blog post about this at some point. But go ahead and check it out. It looks really cool, and it's got a really awesome bust of Pinhead.
So does this bust come with a copy of Hellraiser 1?
I don't know. It's unclear because it says Operation Trilogy. I think this might be a promotional bust that comes with the Blu-ray, the copies of the Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3.
Oh.
But it looks like it's pretty big. They have the measurements in the picture. It's like 20 centimeters tall, 24 centimeters wide, and the base is like almost 16 centimeters deep. So it looks pretty decent.
He kind of looks like the Hellbound Pinhead.
Yeah, he's like grinding his teeth, and he's got like this fierce expression on his face. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead and like their page, ESC Distribution. Yeah. Look it up on Facebook. Look at the post on our Clive Barker podcast Facebook page.
So on to our main topic. We kind of teased it a little bit, but we are working on our new fundraiser, and of course, ideally, I think we would have liked to have gotten it up a little sooner, but it's Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraising Inferno 5, kind of moving along with the Hellraiser theme.
Yeah, I like the title.
Yeah.
Our Kickstarter will be up again by the time this podcast is available to download. So at that point, you can go in there and start shopping. We've got a whole bunch of stuff donated from various places, and our goal is modest, like usual. $700 keeps our website and our blog and our podcast and domain names and the app going for another year.
Yeah, the two apps available on the iStore. Is that what you call it?
The iOS App Store, or the
iOS App Store, and the Android Store, the Google Play Store. So you have two apps for two different ecosystems that you can get, and I've made a video showing how to use the app, so go ahead and check that out. It's really useful. It's got an alarm. It downloads all your episodes automatically. You have a lot of functionalities. It even has a video tab, so you can watch some of our videos there. And,
as far as like our goals go, we're still going to get to the things that, we talked about in last year, but we're going to do another year of episodes and interviews, and of course our stuff. We keep going for another year, but as like usual, we also have stretch goals and things that we can do with a little bump up. We'll do 6 interviews. We've pared down the number of interviews we've been doing over the years just because scheduling is hard. You're 2 hours, Jose, you're 2 hours later than me, and Rob, you are 4 hours later than me. And then if we interview somebody from the UK, the time difference between them and me is 9 hours. So it's
a little hard to schedule, yeah.
And then daylight savings time is different on a different date in the UK from what it is in the United States, and then Jose, you're in Arizona where they don't even do daylight savings time.
Yep. We don't believe in daylight savings in Arizona. Yeah. So you don't get to sleep an extra hour, or you don't get to lose 1 hour of sleep when it changes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. But so we got some pre-goals, like you said, that we're still working on, and we have some people joining us to help us deliver those in time. And we have listeners and backers and people like Rob. You're here again after a hiatus from the podcast, which is always great to have you back here. And you're also helping us transcribe some of the interviews for the interview book that we're doing, which we apologize. But, every 10 minutes of those interviews takes us about an hour or more.
Yeah, they're not kidding either, man. It takes time. I wrote up, I did the Hugh Ross interview, and it ended up being about,
that was like a 36-minute.
Yeah, it's 30. Depending on the podcast, how the length. That took me about a week and a half to do, and it's about 20 pages of a document I made. So it's not just they listen to the words and you're like, oh, you write it, but you have to go back over and over because the mind can only, or at least mine can only comprehend about half a sentence. What somebody says, and I have to go back and listen to it again.
But we are working on that, and we are going to have that exclusive Clive Barker drawing on the cover that depicts Lude's father, I think.
Yeah.
And from Nightbreed. So we're still giving you guys a new chance to buy more copies of the book on this Kickstarter because, let's face it, we didn't sell that many copies on our last Kickstarter, right? It was like in the single digits, maybe. I was like,
I can't.
We're giving you guys a chance.
That was probably our biggest seller, but it wasn't. We have so many other things to buy that people didn't. Not everybody bought one of those.
Right. So what else do we have for sale?
Okay. So of course, if you donate any amount of money, from $1 up, you get personal thanks on the podcast and on the blog. We will mention you by name. Unless you don't want us to. We've got Magica cards. I'll just pick some at random and give them to you. Maybe one, maybe more. Maybe they're rare. Maybe they're not. I've still got a whole bunch of those available. I sold some. We sold quite a bit in the last Kickstarter, and then I sold some after that.
Those are kind of hard to get now, right?
Yeah. They are really hard to find.
I actually put up all a card sheet, and put them in a book. So I'm not getting rid of those. I want to keep them.
Yeah.
And there's Imaginer exhibition catalogs. We've got a paperback of The Great and Secret Show. Comics, we've got Nightbreed #1 from Boom Studios, and the Next Testament #1, of the variant with the Clive Barker painting of Wick's face on the cover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and let's see. Oh, Books of Blood, the Box of Blood, trading cards. We've got the Imaginer, Imagica, poster with the mat on the reverse side for the trading card game.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this is a little confusing, but there was an Clive Barker Imaginer gallery opening exhibit, in the UK, and it predates the Imaginer books that we know now. Right. And we have a poster from that.
Was it given by Russell?
Yeah, exactly. It was.
That happened recently, right? In the last few months, I remember.
No. No. That was like early.
It
2000s.
predates the Imaginer books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and then we have a poster for Clive Barker's Imaginer 1, the first, when there was the first Kickstarter for the book #1. We have a poster for Visions of Heaven and Hell. We have a poster for the Cabal cut, and a poster for the director's cut, which, I didn't realize. I think we need to do a little editing, because I think they both say that we thought they were both Cabal cut, but they're not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you'll that'll all be taken care of by the time you see that. But anyway,
we have a tank top, Clive Barker tank top. I think it was from the store, right? The real Clive Barker store.
Yeah, and a lot of this was donated by Marcus Williams, who's a writer on our site and a huge collector of Clive Barker stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Marcus.
Yeah,
thanks for
definitely.
generosity.
That's very nice.
And what else we got? There's from Marcus again a set of like cards and bookmarks and stuff, and one of them is signed by Clive Barker. So that's only $5. So there's a huge range of prices on things. You don't have to spend a lot of money.
And we probably have more stuff coming in from Seraphim because I think they sent us a box. So we may have to update our rewards at some point during the Kickstarter. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff, right? I mean, you guys are going to see the Kickstarter at this point after you're listening to this episode. And you'll be able to see all the images with all the backer rewards that we're adding in. And you'll also see all our stretch goals. So... Yeah. You know, at the $100 level, we'll try to deliver 6 more interviews with people. At $850, we will review The Magician play script. At $900, you'll unlock our review of Hellraiser, The Toll, coming out by Mark Miller. Soon, I mean, in 2018, probably January, February. Do we know when this is coming out, Ryan?
February is what Mark had heard from the publishers.
Excellent.
And for anybody that got an advanced copy, it's going to be different. There's been some they've made some changes. So
yes, they've been making some slight changes to that, which of course happens when you have an advanced script, advanced reading copy. Sometimes the things will change. It's not just a matter of editing typos here and there, but sometimes they may go and change a few sentences. So at $950, we'll unlock Paradise Street Review, which is another excellent play from Clive Barker. And at $1,000, you'll unlock Subtle Bodies discussion episode. And it goes on from there. I mean, you want to take over?
Yeah. We'll do also to Salome and the Forbidden audio commentary, which I'm surprised that we never thought of that before.
It's going to be weird.
Yeah. It might be a little bit like, I don't know what's going on right now. But
there's Clive Barker dancing naked right now.
Yep.
Peter Atkins, you get his skin taken off.
And like you were talking about before, we'll be doing talking about Colossus. We'll do an audio commentary for Barn of the Blood Llama, and you're probably going, what?
If we can find a copy of that, because I don't even know if we can still find a copy of that. But I'll do my best to try to track down the guy who owns the movie and try to buy a copy from him.
That would be good, yeah. So you don't think it's like on YouTube or...
I don't think so. I think I remember a copy being up on Vimeo at one point, but I think that I remember the author going in there and doing some sort of comment like, hey, how's this movie here? This is my movie. And then was taken down. So
okay, well, we'll figure out a way to make it work.
Yep.
We'll buy it if...
I think it's still for sale, yeah. Yeah.
And... Clive Barker, The Art of Horror. So I just thought would be an interesting topic for an episode because we talked about it really briefly before. It was a little 30-minute documentary that you could only get by buying Hellraiser 3 on videotape and pulling a tab off of the box and shipping it in.
Mm-hmm. Then they finally put it on the DVD release of Hellraiser 3 as an extra.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
That's the only way I saw it. I never did the VHS.
It's a very interesting documentary. It's very early. It has Clive Barker really young, with the spiky hair and the leather jacket, talking about things, smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
It shows him painting and talking about art, talking about books of blood. So it's a great documentary. I think it's on Seraphim Inc.'s YouTube channel, I think. You can probably watch it there.
I always like the cover of that, how it went from Clive, picturing it slowly progressed to like Pinhead. He would look like Pinhead.
Yeah, I don't know. I always wondered how Doug Bradley felt about that.
Oh, I'm sure he was okay with it.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like taking his job or anything.
No, that's not going to happen. And then, of course, Sleepwalker's audio commentary, and you might be going, what? But if you remember that movie from the 90s, Clive Barker made a short cameo in
Stephen
there.
King and telling him, trying to tell Stephen King. He tells Stephen King off, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, go talk to the sheriff or something like that.
Yeah, Stephen King plays a coroner, I think.
Yeah. And Clive Barker's like a medical examiner, I think.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, I think Mick Garris is the reason that all of that happened, because he's got an in with all of these horror horror actors.
Mick Garris is great.
There's a bunch of other famous horror directors in that scene, I think, too, but I didn't know any of them at the time except for Stephen King and Clive Barker.
And if anybody out there doesn't know, Mick Garris has an amazing podcast called Postmortem. So go look for that online and check it out, because it's really good.
The other two directors that are in that scene are Tobe Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Joe Dante.
Yeah.
Those are the two other guys.
There, yeah. There's pictures of all of them together behind the scenes that I think we've posted before.
It's a great picture, yeah.
Yeah. So I like that movie, Sleepwalkers. It's weird,
fun.
It's got this weird vibe on it, but then it's got great special effects. Has some great unforgettable moments, like when a cop gets stabbed with an ear of corn.
That did it for me. After seeing that, I'm like, I'm never watching this again.
Yeah, I love that part.
Man. I really hated that.
She followed it up with the best line. She was like, "What was it?
Cop kebabs?
No, vegetables.
Yeah, eat your vegetables, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It was really cheesy.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching that movie again. I had it in Portugal in a VHS that I bought, and great cover. It's got all those cats converging onto a house in the middle of the night that has a glowing window, and it's a great. I had so much fun with that movie. And doesn't it have Machen Emick?
Yes, from Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Great stuff. It's really good.
It's cheesy, definitely, and I agree with Ryan. There's some parts. Cop kebab. You bring up another great line. That was,
I also,
it's so silly. And
I didn't understand why cat people would be like enemies of house cats, and I didn't understand if these creatures were supposed to be sympathetic, because they were jerks.
Yeah, they were assholes. You're right.
Yeah.
They survived in strange ways by sucking like the life force out of like virgins. Yeah, after they gave love to them. Yeah, so that was weird. It was kind of a weird vampire feline thing going on.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Sleepwalkers audio commentary.
I'd love to join y'all for that one.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
absolutely.
Please do.
Yeah, join us. Yeah, and then at $1,300, we'll unlock another stretch goal for the discussion of the Hellraiser Epic Comics, which I'm really looking forward to because I love those.
Just like we did for the Nightbreed Epic Comics, we'll do a 6 or so part series, or maybe 8. I don't remember how many we got to.
I don't want to seem like I'm biased against the Nightbreed comics, but the Hellraiser Epic Comics are definitely better writing. They have better writing. They have better short stories. And excellent art. I mean, when you compare both of those series, I mean, the Hellraiser one, in my view, was clearly superior.
Do we talk about Jihad again when we go through those?
No, I think we've done it.
Yeah.
But have we talked about the Pinhead series yet? The miniseries?
We did do the Pinhead ones.
Yeah.
We did an episode about those.
Those were fun.
Yeah.
Those were really fun. I liked it.
Peter Atkins did a couple of those books, didn't he?
You know what? I think so. That sounds familiar.
We'll have to,
At $1,500, you have the Duels of Blood returning. So Duels of Blood Chapter 3, right, Ryan?
Yeah, and this Duels of Blood is a lot of work for us to do these things. But we'll bring it back if you guys want it. It is a lot of fun. I think our first year was a little more successful than the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, but maybe the third one will be better. I think it might have more to do with like the characters that we pick and
who won last year. Who was the winner of that all? Does anybody remember?
It was weird. Who was that? It was Mendelssohn Shape from Aberrat.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then,
the first one was Julia, and the second one was Mendelsohn Shape.
And then we even did a bonus round of Julia versus Mendelsohn Shape, and he beat Julia by 95%.
That's right. He had 113 votes versus just 6 votes for Julia. I mean, wow, that was a landslide.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, other than I have a feeling the voting might have been skewed by like one person or something. Because
Could be.
I don't know how. I think there was some dedicated Mendelsohn Shape person out there that we allow voting every 5 minutes on this, and none of us ever really took advantage of that. But a person could, and that may be why this happened.
Definitely interesting to pit all these characters against each other in the kind of like a Monster Madness kind of thing, and see which one comes out the victorious one. Sometimes it's not the one you expect. Like in the first one, I thought for sure Pinhead was going to beat everybody, but Julia ended up winning. So we'll see what happens in the third one. We'll have to dig deep to find 64 characters. Maybe we'll put in a few repeats, I guess.
And there's a lot of the final results. A lot of it depends on who you put against each other in the first round.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Chatterer didn't make it because he went up against Pinhead in the first round of the first year that we did this, right? And he would have gotten a lot farther if he was up against somebody less popular.
Yeah, like one of those little squid guys from Aberrat.
Yeah, right.
Forgot the names.
Yeah.
And then our final and most ambitious goal, we never really reached this much, but if we reached 2,500, we could set a pilgrimage for Ryan and me to go to Texas Frightmare Weekend, where it all began in May of 2018, I believe.
Yeah, May 5th, I think. It's that over that weekend.
And when we say where it all began, it's like when you went to Texas Frightmare Weekend in 2011.
Yeah.
That's when you got the idea to start the podcast?
Yeah. After having spent a lot of time, hanging around with Clive and Mark Miller at their table. And, I felt kind of bad seeing, the shape that Clive Barker had been in. Just, at the time he had not been sleeping, and his head was kind of stuck to one side, and I kind of felt like he was putting all this effort to be with the fans, even though he was, obviously not. He was obviously not well. And I felt like I wanted to do something to give back, and I was thinking maybe I'll write him a letter. And I thought about that for a long time, and I was there by myself, just hanging around in my hotel, and then I thought, what, I really, really like podcasts, and I've got a podcast right now that's I'm just about ready to give up on, the Emmett the Crab one. So I thought, why not? And I did a search, and there were no Clive Barker podcasts. So I started. This was in April of 2011. So I started the planning on it and talked to you guys on the I talked to you, Jose, and Roger and David and a bunch of people about it on the forum. The
Clive Barker fans forum.
I remember listening to the very first podcast. I remember listening to the very first podcast that you did.
It was the year in review episode.
Yeah. It was like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah. I think we went through every single news item and release for 2011. Yep.
So hopefully by the time you listen to this episode, the Kickstarter will be up, and you'll be able to start looking at all the rewards and all the levels of backer rewards that you can get. And we will probably update them soon when we get more stuff from Seraphin.
Yeah.
So just stay tuned, and I hope you guys help support us for another year.
Well, and I do want to say that if we end up going to Texas Frightmare Weekend, it'll be for all of you listeners. So I can, if you want to, I can bring stuff to get it signed for you. We'll be doing interviews and taking pictures and videos and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say y'all should do like a little documentary or something.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely. And we'll do the best we can to keep the cost down. I've got airline miles built up. We can see if we can get press passes. I mean, I think that we've built up enough time to prove that we're a legitimate website and podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've actually broken a lot of Clive Barker news that we were the first ones to get it. So I think that we can get in based on that.
And if everything goes well, Clive Barker will be present at the Texas Frightmare Weekend, which is also a great opportunity to maybe, get to say hi to Clive and put it on tape for the podcast.
Yeah,
definitely.
And if he's not there, there's still all of the Hellraiser reunion cast that will be there, and it's an amazing experience. I mean, I've been to probably like 5 horror conventions now because of Occupy Midian, and this is my favorite out of all of them. So
cool. So we'll put the Kickstarter up, and as usual, you guys can go there and check whatever you want, and just help us do. Is going to be our 7th year?
Yeah.
That's going to be our 7th year. Holy crap.
Yeah, and there's we kind of put our heart and soul into this whole podcast, and I'm giving away stuff from my personal collection. The one of the things we didn't mention, the Hellraiser DVD tin. I kind of reluctantly put that in the list, but I've got autographs in there from Hellraiser cast and from Clive Barker on there. It's the Hellraiser 1 and 2 DVD set. But I was kind of thinking, I mean, I love it, but at the same time, it's like, really, how many copies of Hellraiser do I need?
Is that the Anchor Bay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's region 2?
No, it's North American. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Awesome, man.
For a while, Anchor Bay was doing this cool thing. I used to have them too. I used to have that same thing. You had Ryan. But they were doing this cool thing with a lot of the movies, releasing tin sets, and they were really nice.
Yeah.
It comes with a couple of little posters, right, for Hellraiser 1 and 2?
Yeah, they're little card-sized ones that fit inside of there, and there's a big, thick book about Hellraiser 1 and 2, and that's what I got signed. Yeah. And the card part is also signed by Clive Barker, so I actually have 2 Clive Barker autographs inside of the tin there.
Nice.
Yeah, and Scarlet Gospels we have autographed. Our T-shirt from last year, we have 5 of those available in various sizes. Speaking of T-shirts, Rob, your Occupy Midian King Rocker shirt that has never been worn.
Never wore that.
Just hung on to it ever since that was at 2012 or 13 when those came out.
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah. So we've got one of those. You'll probably never, ever be able to buy that again. A lot of these things on our Kickstarter, there's only one of them. So I'd recommend, if you're listening to this, head over to Kickstarter, do a search for Clive Barker, and you'll find us. And, browse through all that stuff and see if there's anything you like, because a majority of it, there's only one of them. Other things, like we've got some posters and stuff that we have multiples of. But yeah, a lot of there's the Clive Barker Society Pinhead t-shirt. We have an extra large. There's only one of those. If you remember the short-lived Clive Barker Society, there was one delivery of stuff from that, and when I got that, the t-shirt was the wrong size. So I just hung on to it, and I've never worn it, and now it's in the Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's got a Pinhead face. It's got the face of Pinhead on it, so it's a very, very cool T-shirt. I have one of those too. Actually, I have more of those. Maybe we can add some extras to the Kickstarter. I just realized.
Oh yeah, and that would be great. And then the Cabal cut, the Nightbreed Cabal cut, which was sold out everywhere. We have some of those. We have 2 that we know of for sure right now, and we heard that the box coming from Seraphim has more. So if we get more, we'll bump the numbers up. We're selling them at the price that they were sold on the real Clive Barker website, the store website. So we're not inflating the price or scalping or anything.
Yeah, we're not scalpers. We're just trying to get more of these out to fans who might have missed out on the 2 or 3 chances that they got to buy.
Yeah.
This standard edition. Again, the collector's edition is always going to stay at 200 copies. There's never going to be any more of those.
Yeah. And of course, our hardcover interview book, you talked about that already, but we're interested in selling more copies of those. And We're really kind of diving in right now, and we're getting help with the transcription. So we expect to have this done 2018 for sure. And what else have we got? Scarlet Gospels UK autographed.
It's a beautiful cover by Macmillan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites.
Art by David Mack, I think. Is it David Mack that did the cover?
Oh, Pyramid, yeah, and Pyramid Gallery donated a musical puzzle box.
Oh,
that's right, yeah. Yeah, Max Lichter, assistant gallery administrator of the Pyramid Gallery, and he was also part of our first Duels of Blood, if you remember that. He was generous enough to offer a musical box for our Kickstarter.
That's sweet. I like the sound of that. I might have to buy that.
You can plan an episode and join us if you want to. Like last year, we had Ben Warren come on to talk about Imagica, which was perfect timing because we hadn't talked about it yet at that point. And it was a great episode. It turned out to be one of my favorites. So I'm hoping that we get another one like that, where someone comes on and has their own topic, because
right. And before that, we had Don Bertram join us in an episode once to talk about the art of Clive Barker, right?
Yeah, which was great.
Episode, yeah, absolutely.
There's advertising, and we kind of bundle so the more, if you spend more, you get more episodes and more time. So we make banners on the website, and kind of as an added bonus that we never really talked about, the Duels of Blood episode podcast. Bleh. The Duels of Blood website also has a banner advertising spot that we put in there, without we didn't ask for extra money for that. We just do it. So if the Duels of Blood goes again, we'll also be advertising there for if you get advertising. 6 episodes, 14 or 24 episodes.
A lot of great stuff on there.
Yeah, it's a huge list of things.
Yeah, it is.
And I imagine, like, after the first couple of days, a lot of these are going to drop off. But we'll also be getting more stuff when the Seraphim box comes. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'm betting the Cabal Cut Standard Editions will probably go pretty quick.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm saying those will probably be the first to go.
I think so too.
Yeah. And of course, there's our commentary track on that Blu-ray that we're very proud of. And we got some good feedback from other listeners. And they're like, hey, I really enjoyed it. Very informative, guys, So thanks, give us more feedback on that commentary track. And we'll really work hard on that one. Woo-wee.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually that kind of brings us into what we're going to be doing next for, the remainder of 2017 in our podcast episodes. Our next one we're going to be talking about Sacrament, which was one of our goals for last year from our Kickstarter, to talk about Sacrament. So we will actually get that done in 2017, really close to the end. And then for anyone out there that wants to hear, our next episode will be the audio commentary we did for the Cabal Cut. So if you're curious about that and you don't have a copy of the Blu-ray, that'll be posted on there as kind of a bonus. Also to give us a little bit of holiday time. so that'll be good.
Have yourself a Nightbreed little Christmas.
Yeah, and I have to say that Jose worked on the editing on that for like a week. And
yes.
it really shows. It's the audio quality on it is really good.
Thank you.
And the editing, not for content, but just for clarity is really good.
Clarity. We used 2 master recordings for that, and then there was some buzzing noise here and there, and I had to go in and hand take it out by hand. It's just like, oh, you have to silence this part, and then you have to mix this, and you have to equalize the levels, and it took me like a week to do that, but it was great. It was great. And then we put a little bit of the background sound. We got it off of the Cabal Cut, and we took off the sound from that, and we mixed it in a little bit at the bottom. So you get this feeling that the 2 of us are in the room together watching the Cabal Cut, even though Ryan, of course, was in Alaska. I was in Phoenix, and we were just on Skype doing the best we could, but recording each one of us locally on our computers. So yeah, editing is fun, but it's very, very time-consuming. And again, it'll be a nice Christmas episode for you guys to listen to. And like Ryan said, give us some more time to spend it with our family and do our jobs, which are taking a lot of time.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And we forgot to introduce ourselves at the beginning. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Joe.
And this is Rob.
Yeah. And so, Rob, you did a great thing on the website recently also, which was you reviewed one of the Hellraiser remakes scripts that Clive Barker worked on.
Barker's official, the one he worked on,
so
I liked it a lot.
It really took off. This review that you did really took off. It raised a lot of ears. It got a lot of people interested. I think they even featured your review in one of those horror websites. I think it was either Bloody Disgusting.
Yeah, Bloody Disgusting. I also saw it on comicbook.com because I get alerts. I saw it on comicbook.com and a bunch of other ones that I'd never seen before.
It was a great review. I had a chance to look it over when you were still writing it, and I thought, this is really good stuff. And you did a really good job reviewing the script. And of course, we couldn't really we can't. People, you're asking us, hey, give us a copy of the script.
Yeah, I've had about 5 or 6 people send me emails. I've had to politely tell them can't do that. That's it's just not part of the there's no way I can do that. So if anybody's listening, that's impossible.
Yeah,
it's not our property. It was just given to us, kindly given to us by the Clive Barker people, and say, hey, you guys want to read this? Maybe in the future, if you want to do a review, as long as you're not too spoilery, go ahead and do it. So, thanks, Rob, for doing this.
Yeah.
This was really fun to read.
I really enjoyed reading it, and it was, I don't know what the status is on a remake, but like I said in the review, the only way I think a remake of any Hellraiser should be is Clive has to be involved in the creative process, because he's the only one that can really he knows this world and what works and what doesn't, and I think he's if he's not involved, and I wouldn't bother.
Well, and I think that's really out. I mean, basically, was it Bob Weinstein had talked to Clive Barker about doing the remake? The conversation went really well. They didn't hear anything for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, the news drops about Hellraiser Judgment, and they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And at this point, they said, okay, well, I guess you're doing that now, and they decided to develop that script into what's coming up in February as Hellraiser The Toll.
Yeah, partially. It goes in different directions, and it expands it into this kind of reimagining of the first Hellraiser with Frank and Julia and Kirsty, right, Rob?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, but everything that Clive wrote, even the stuff that's familiar feels new. It's strange. It's how the box is really nice. I will, like I said in my review, the box is really much closer to the design of the box. Is much closer to the way he talked about it in the Hellbound Heart, which I like. Yeah. I would love to see the black.
I thought that they didn't make it that way because they thought it wouldn't show up well on film.
It just made it more interesting, And then they got Simon Sacy to do that design, and then they just fell in love with it and then went with it. Yeah.
The rest is history on that.
Yeah.
So go on our blog and check out on the CliveBarkerCast.com. You can read Rob's review of it. It's called Clive Barker's Hellraiser Remake Script Review. Mild spoilers. So go check that out. It's a great article. Thanks again for coming back and doing this for us, Rob.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem, guys. I love you.
So it's great having you here with us.
Guys.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Rob. It was awesome. Got us a little bit of attention, which was nice.
I think I might. I'm gonna do a. Did y'all do an episode of the Harry D'Amour? What was it? The unscripted.
The Great Unknown.
Yeah, we did.
I might do a review of that too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and do it.
I haven't read it yet.
Okay. Well, you have a copy of it, so go ahead and read it, and then when you can, give us your review, and I'm sure the fans will love to read your take on it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I also want to do a review of the Cabal cut. So.
That would be good.
Next.
That'll go really well with our when we do put the audio commentary up.
Yeah. Which is coming up, I think, at the end of the year.
Yeah. which is not very far away. Geez, today's like the 16th already.
God, it is. Christmas is next week.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm not ready.
I hope everybody has a nice holiday and have fun. Don't eat too much, and keep reading good books and watching good movies.
Definitely.
And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. Find the show notes for this episode and join the discussion over at www.clivebarkercast.com, where we have news and links to all the ways you can connect with us. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and every other place you can find podcasts. The Clive Barker Podcast is an independent editorial podcast and news blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans.
Thanks for listening.